Building, they believe their inmates suffered of infected blood. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you do with people of infected blood?
Kill them,
You
man.
don't kill them, that's a little bit too far.
You blade them out.
You bleed them out. You cut them open over a barrel and have them bleed out that bad blood before sewing them back up. Various amounts of surgeries, as well as shaving their heads bald and placing leeches on their naked scalps,
Yep.
as well as running a boiling hot tub of water. Next to the boiling hot tub of water would be an ice cold bath, and you would swap the patient from hot to cold, hoping that somehow it sets them sane again. But this causes more problems than solutions. But then a shining light would arrive at this hospital, a man by the name of Dr. Jonathan Galt. Dr. Jonathan Galt asked the question of the institution, what if instead of draining these people of the blood, you talk to them? Start treating them as human beings. What a crazy thought. He does so. And he notices when he starts treating his patients well, they start getting better. Start feeling better. In fact, it is said that some of the patients who are leaving hospital declared to be sane again. But with this light comes a shadow. Before Dr. Jonathan Galt arrived at this institution, he treated those injured on the battlefield. Not injured physically, injured mentally. And during those times, they did not care if their soldiers were recovered. They just cared that their soldiers could pick up a rifle and fire it at the enemy. With this, Dr. John blames himself, saying there's no time he could have given these patients more resources he could have used. Blames himself. And he falls into a pit of depression. And in this pit of depression, he finds comfort to one thing, the drug of opium. Maybe inside of this building, his addiction would end. Not in the nice AA meeting. Inside of the building, Dr. Jonathan Galt was not answering his door. They forced open the door and find Dr. Jonathan Galt lying dead in a pool of his own blood as he overdosed on opium, fell out of his chair, and cracked open his skull, leaving a giant blood puddle. They were able to remove the corpse, but for whatever reason, they could not remove the blood stain. The blood stain would not come out, no matter what they put upon this blood stain, no matter where they painted over the blood stain, no matter if they removed the floorboards and installed new ones, the blood stain did not leave.
That's not creepy at all.
Now, this building would end as a mental institution in the early 1900s. They discovered this building was too small to be an asylum. So, they removed anyone at this facility, whether it be an orderly or inmate, and moved them further down the road at Eastern State Mental Hospital of Williamsburg. It would be in 1980, one of the patients would escape and come to Colonial Williamsburg. Not for sightseeing. Behind the Governor's Palace is a hedge maze. It is said in this hedge maze there's spirits that travel left and right, but in 1980, a young couple decided to go in this hedge maze to investigate. The man was heavily intoxicated, does not have good balance. He falls off the gate and knocks himself out cold. When he wakes up, he finds himself covered in a pool of his own blood. Lying next to him is the corpse of his girlfriend with her head cut off. He looks just above her corpse to find a man holding a scythe in one hand and her head in the other. He's picked up by security as he's seen running down the Williamsburg streets covered in blood. They contributed to the escaped inmate, a man they only know as the Scythe Killer, who escaped, who is only known not by name. He would kill people, cut their heads off with a scythe, and keep them for his own collection. Two more murders would take place in 1980 in Colonial Williamsburg, but the Scythe Killer never to be apprehended. Now, it is still said the old asylum lives on in spirit from inside of this building. He will claim to see apparitions of both the inmates and orderlies from inside and outside of this building, claiming to hear their screams, their shrieks, claiming to see doors fly open and to hear knocks, screaming. well as seeing the light flicker on and on from inside and outside of this facility. But it's not just Dr. John's bloodstain that lies on the second floor. It is said from his old office, Dr. Jonathan Galt's spirit can be seen from the top right corner looking outside at the people of Williamsburg. It is said that if Dr. Jonathan Galt has any awareness of the outside world, that today he would be happy. That now we have developments and research for mental health, knows that mental illness can get the help they require. But if they can't afford it, not too far from the old mental institution is a bar. It might not be the best option, but it is the cheaper one. Now, I love American Horror Show Silent. But I'd like to dive deeper into American Horror Stories Coven as we begin to talk about the witches of Williamsburg. So please follow me down to the Small Plains Port.